We are here in an old gravel pit near Biberach. It looks like a vacation spot here with nice weather and a blue lake, but we're here to work. Everything here revolves around our off-road vehicles, especially the Xtura. Over the 1st of May, we organized a 3-day off-road driving training offering full-day driving courses for existing Xtura owners. They arrived with their own Xturas, as you can see behind me. And we offered a light driving training session lasting 2 hours. There were 3 time slots daily, providing press and test vehicles for customers who don't own one yet and are in the decision-making process. The exciting thing about this event is that we had owners and interested parties together in one place. They also exchanged a lot among themselves in these driving training groups, leading to some really interesting conversations and group dynamics. And in the evenings, there was always a cozy get-together around the campfire. Let me briefly describe how a typical day went here. At 8:30 in the morning, quite early, we started here with a theoretical briefing in the hangar. We're on the grounds of an old gravel pit. Up front, there's a makeshift shelter, so the event can still take place even if it rains. We didn't need it, we had good weather, but in the mornings our 2 instructors gave us a theoretical briefing on what to pay attention to when driving off-road. And the customers and interested owners could ask all sorts of questions there. After that, we hit the track. The full-day training was led by an instructor. They were then in vehicles from 9 to 12 for 3 hours. And light driving training took place in 2-hour shifts with driver changes. What all had in common was that the customers came back absolutely amazed and thrilled by what you can actually do with these vehicles. Because it's one thing to say, okay, it has all-wheel drive, but what can it do? And the sentence I heard very often was, well, the vehicle can do much more. The limitation is up here in our heads because we don't even dare to try these things with the vehicle. And for many people, that boundary was pushed higher, what they're willing to drive. Yes, here on site we had the all-wheel drive vehicles we also offer for sale. This is the Canon Dexter, that's a Thor Transit based on a 4x4 platform, also available with a large lift kit at a very attractive price. We're looking at under 80,000 euros for an all-wheel drive vehicle. Then we had our Xtura there, which made up the majority. At times we had up to 15 Xturas lined up here at once. And then we had our DOVRA as well, both the short and the long version, our premium campervan conversion from Sweden. So we're here at articulation point. We're now driving DOVRA over first hill. You can see first wheel is in air and spinning. This is how the 4 ETS system works. The vehicle detects the left wheel slipping, automatically brakes it, and transfers power to the right wheel. It takes a moment. Normally, you instinctively let off the gas as soon as a wheel spins, but not with this one. It needs 1 rotation to recognize there's slip for the 4 ETS to engage. So keep giving it steady, gentle throttle, and you can make it through here even without a locked differential. Now we see the opposite situation and the vehicle is about to tip over. Yeah, he's doing it carefully. Exactly. As soon as the vehicle detects slip at one spot, all power is redirected to the other wheel. And that's how we get through. This means thanks to these 4 ETS electronics, we don't need a locked differential. Basically, there's always the option to retrofit one. Of course, it makes things even more comfortable and easier to drive. It's not necessary. Our customers, the Mayas, took part in the full-day training with their own X2R. How was it?
Excellent. Honestly, it was outstanding, truly outstanding. I've already spent a lot of time off-road, driving around with my brother's G-Class with the tractor he has. I know it, I'm familiar with off-roading, but this terrain here at this event with the excellent instructor really showed us again what this car is capable of. You might think it's possible in theory, but when you actually experience it, you're amazed at what the car can do.
How did you truly perceive it as the passenger?
I trusted the car and I trusted the driver and I trusted the instructor. If he says we can drive down there, or that this is how it's done,
Then it works.
hopefully it works out then. Yes, and everything did work out.
What was the most truly impressive situation?
Honestly, right at the end, when every car was hanging with one or two wheels in the air.
Yes, the twisted ones.
Exactly, the twisted ones, yes. That was actually the very strangest part of the entire thing, I would say.
What I also liked was that we talked a lot about it beforehand. When we talked about driving off-road and things like that, she always said, you definitely won't drive down there or anything like that. And I think one of the most positive effects for me personally is that today she saw that it's possible, and that later, when we're driving around in situations like that, somewhere, whether in Albania, Bulgaria, or wherever, she'll be there and say, go ahead, you can do it.
More trust in the driver and the vehicle.
I just gave an example earlier. It's strange. This car looks so delicate, you know. On the one hand, it looks unique, but it's not massively bulky. Those are expedition vehicles, they look bulky. This one looks delicate. But when you see how it stands on an articulation track, I remember one spot, exactly, wheel was leaning at such an angle against the slope, really tilted, and the other was just standing straight down. And the suspension was so twisted and yet so stable. That really impressed me. It was just fantastic.
Yeah, the day was worth it.
Absolutely. And nice people too.
Yes, wonderful. What more could you want? Then thank you for being willing to share your impressions with us. Have a great evening. The evening continues with a campfire and guitar music.
We came because your father told me about it.
Because of music?
Partly for the music, yes.
Look, now you even get some driving training on top of it. We're now in the side slope area. This is a great place to try things out. We have a long slope here. You can steer up steeper or come down lower. We can manage here even with the Xtura, which is a relatively tall vehicle that might also have a heavy air conditioning unit or something similar on the roof, up to a 20-degree side slope. That feels extremely uncomfortable inside the vehicle. From the outside, it looks relatively harmless, but if you're the one sitting on the lower side, you always think it's really about to tip over. That's why we drive this course in two directions. One so that the driver is sitting on the upper side, and one so that the driver is sitting on the lower side. We're now at the point called orderly retreat, which means you drive up into the terrain and can't go any further. And now we'll see three different approaches. The first approach, which is how you shouldn't do it, you just roll backwards down without a gear engaged, without braking. And you can see the vehicle gains quite a bit of momentum and shoots forward. Second approach, this time we'll carefully go down with ABS braking. So first, engage reverse gear at the very top, and then alternate pressing and gently releasing the brake pedal. We can clearly see that this is already much more controlled and stable. It's always important that the front wheels don't lock up, so we can still steer. Third approach, the Xtura is equipped with DSR, downhill speed regulation. This means that at the top, the driver can set the desired downhill speed to 5 km/h, and then the system automatically brakes each wheel individually. This is even more coordinated than what you can achieve yourself using ABS braking. Driving through water is, of course, perfect for the beautiful weather we have here today, but we're lucky because if it were raining, you wouldn't be able to cross here at this spot. We have to make sure that the water doesn't get too high, not even from the bow wave we push ahead of us, and that it doesn't get into the air intake. Because water can't be compressed a single drop of water in the engine, and the engine is ruined. Officially, Mercedes specifies the wading depth of the Mercedes Sprinter at 60 centimeters. So at least there's an indication of how deep you can drive through. In general, the top rule when driving through water is to go slowly, so you don't push a big wave ahead of you. And of course, you should know the terrain beforehand, so you don't run into unexpected holes. We are now at the section with alternating axle articulation. First, we have a tilt to the driver's side, then to the passenger side. The most difficult point is the transition coming up ahead. We'll see that in a moment. If you do it right, you can have up to 2 wheels in the air. Yes, exactly. So we can already see quite a steep incline there. If you really push it to the limit, that's 32 degrees. That's not quite possible with the DOVRA, but we already have a pretty steep angle here. And now it's about to get interesting when the front left wheel hits the next slope. Then we'll be hanging suspended in the air, both at the very front and at the very back of the vehicle. And as soon as one of the wheels is in the air, our 4 ETS kicks in again. We've got a hell of a slope here. Alex is also very proud and dedicated owner of an impressive Xtura. He successfully completed a full day of intensive training today. Is the vehicle still completely intact?
Yes, absolutely.
Everything working well?
Everything's working.
What was the most impressive situation?
The most impressive situation was actually the whole training, just seeing what the car can do. And I never would have truly thought in my entire life that the car could do so very much off-road. Whether it's uphill, downhill, articulation, sand or water, it's absolutely astonishing because it looks so tall and kind of massive, even though it's actually not that big. So I'm always just totally blown away.
Have you had any off-road driving experience before?
Yes. Oh, probably no one knows that. With the Volvo C202, a Swedish military vehicle, but that was only in my youth back then. I was traveling in Africa with my parents.
Now it's a different driving experience. Ryan's with a camper body on the back of it.
Exactly. With comfort, a proper shower, a real toilet, plenty of space. And as for the driving, highly recommended. Earlier we had a panel van, and those vehicles are also very often equipped with our brakes, and now it just doesn't really matter anymore.
Drive anywhere you want.
Yes, that's really how it is. So now you actually dare to do it. It really is. And the training was well structured, you have to say. If someone had told me this morning that I'd be driving up the mountain today, I would have said, never in my life, not with the X2R.
Yeah.
This afternoon we drove up and it was just...
The front on the passenger side is about to lift off. And now you should keep giving it gas steadily and smoothly. That's it. It's rolling over really nicely. It always gets exciting at the back, at the rear, in terms of clearance, making sure we don't bottom out. But in this case, it's working out quite well. He's even steering further to the left. He wants to drive at more of an angle. At the back, we are fully compressed. At the front, fully extended, even in the air. And then it continues to move up here at a distinct angle. There was plenty of clear and ample clearance at the back, at the rear. We're now at a steep downhill section. The Xtura has DSR, downhill speed regulation. That means we can very comfortably set the speed we want to go downhill at, 4 or 5 kilometers each, and then it brakes each wheel individually in a very smooth way. Especially when we have washed out holes like this, where maybe one wheel is hanging in the air. So you can fully concentrate on steering and make sure you don't hit. Yes, our customers, Florian and Heike here, have done the full day training today with their own Xtura. First question, were you scared?
Yes.
Well, yes, she definitely was. At first, I really had a lot of respect for it. So this morning I thought, wow, let's see what's coming our way. But pretty quickly, once he started to gain a bit of trust in the vehicle, and that happened fairly quickly, turned into excitement and fun, and it was super cool.
I think it also started off a bit gently at first with things like reversing and braking and so on. What was the most impressive or perhaps the craziest thing you actually did today?
Honestly, it was truly the very last adrenaline rush that he had promised to us. My nerves were completely shot at that particular point in time.
I heard that indeed.
Yeah, I think those really steep downhill sections are also quite impressive. I mean, the descent control works great, and the vehicle can probably do a lot more than we can right now, even though our knowledge has probably increased 100%. But going down those steep slopes was definitely pretty intense today. And that articulation...
Yeah, the articulation was the last situation when one wheel is really hanging in the air.
Although inside the car, it doesn't actually feel that extreme. So when you're driving and you've already gotten used to having a wheel in the air throughout the day, it's really not that dramatic. But from the outside, it looks insanely brutal. I really think today is invaluable, because whether you arrived yesterday and saw that steep incline up ahead yesterday evening, I would have said, no one could ever drive up there. That's just for the G-Class, that's odd. And then today, after lunch, bam, we just drove right up there and it worked so well. It's just amazing. What these vehicles are capable of, the whole group from Stubengau has shown that honestly everyone is just totally blown away tonight. So in that sense, today was truly invaluable.
We're now at a really steep incline and we've positioned ourselves here in the bushes on the side because the vehicle that's about to come up must not be stopped under any circumstance otherwise. It'll have to make a tactical retreat. We deliberately filmed this at an angle because we hope it will show just how steep it really is. Here, it's so steep that with these shoes you just slide down when you try to walk. All right, he's getting a running start and you really have to go up here with some momentum and here he comes. So Frank, we're at the end of a long day of off-road driving training. Yes. How satisfied are you with your Xtura out on the track?
Oh, it was really a lot of fun today. And not just because we got the cars really dirty. Yeah. At the beginning, when you first set off, you're always very, very careful and sort of ease into it. You get a feel for what the vehicle can do, how it handles, and you also get to know the technology. What really impressed me was that the Xtura can do more than you expect. Yeah.
Go describe the situation.
We drove on some really extreme inclines and descents, both at the end of the day and at the beginning. This morning, I wouldn't have dared to do that yet. But I drove it, and it was really quite exciting because it was an uphill stretch that was also very rocky, so the ground conditions were pretty bad. And it's actually quite incredible how you can get such a heavy vehicle over such a rough and challenging road and such a steep incline. Let me put it this way. The car is definitely capable of much, much more than probably 95% of all drivers who sit behind the wheel. And I include myself in that as well. Yeah, you really have to practice and train. That's also my personal takeaway. To really handle these larger off-road vehicles properly, you need to put in the work. It takes a lot of feeling, yes. And well, it only works, it's like muscle training, you know. You just have to practice and train so you can really do it well.
I think the idea of practicing and training is a great takeaway because we want to make this off-road event a, what do you call it, a standard, a yearly routine every year around the 1st of May. We want to organize something like this, and I've already heard from many people who say they'll come again next year. They want to do it again.
You know, Lisa, our customers, we had an amazing time today, really. At the beginning, I even heard some real screams of fear from the passenger seat. And at the end of the day, everyone really had a lot of fun and had great experiences. And everyone also pushed themselves a little beyond their limits. The atmosphere was great. Yeah, really good.
Frank, today you were practically surrounded by Xtura owners who all wanted to talk to you, of course. What kind of feedback did you get?
Well, aside from the first trouble experiences, it's also really fun when you get to have that kind of exchange. There is also some criticism, yes, where people say, I'm missing this here, or I wish I had that. That's super important for us as well, because, for example, because that also flows back into the development, you know? So we really need that feedback as well.
Yes, we didn't just have owners there, we also had interested parties. From my perspective, I noticed they really exchanged a lot with the owners, not just with us official Mobile people, but also among themselves.
So this exchange with people who already own one and how do you do things and what are your experiences? Here's a question I have. How is it that was really a colorful event today? So somehow, yes, I don't think I spent even 5 minutes alone anywhere the whole day. It really was also this effect that new interested people could really immerse themselves in this whole world of experiences.
So I found it really exciting for all participant groups, for the owners, because they could test their vehicles and push them to the limits, which they hadn't dared to do before. For the interested parties who received all-around support, explanations and tips, and also for us who were able to present a product in a completely different way.
Yes, exactly. It's really lively, you know?
Yeah.
It was fun, that's all you really can say.
Yeah, definitely.
So if this event has sparked your interest, I have good news for you. We want to establish this as a traditional event every year around May 1st with Mobile off-road driving training here at the gravel pit near Biberach. The next opportunity to meet us at a trade fair is at Abenteuer Allrad. Of course, we are always open to your questions and requests at our home base at Mobile. We look forward to hearing.
Before our actual credits roll, here are a few important notes. We are a German trader and have our videos translated by AI. We ourselves speak the languages German and English and have an employee who also speaks Italian. We have experience in exporting both within and outside the EU. We are located near Stuttgart. A direct S-Bahn train goes from Stuttgart Airport to our place. Get off, walk for 3 minutes, and you'll reach our station.
Yes, and currently we would be highly pleased if we have managed to generate your interest and you would like to set up a meeting with us. You can find us directly on the B29 between Fellbach and Schorndorf, a 15-minute drive away from the Stuttgart Stadium.
You can find all the vehicles not only online, but also all of them in our Completo exhibition on site.
And completo means all furniture decors, all upholstery, all floor plans, in short, all yours, all Carmen.
The information about which vehicles are available on site, in what equipment and from when, can be found on our Completo website, which is also linked below.
And then a very special specialty of Mobile is the sale of the large rental fleet at the end of the season and also during the season under the brand name Early Bird. The Early Bird catches the worm. Also, you can order a custom used car from us. He must be able to be delivered in time for the rental season so that he can be delivered at the end of the season.
By the way, when it comes to renting, at Mobile we not only sell the motorhome, but we also offer real service from start to finish. And first of all, let's take a look at Mama in the rental department.
We possess more than 50 vehicles for rent, brand new models with a variety of layouts introduced every year. The chances are very good that you can rent your desired vehicle, which you are interested in buying, from us first. The vehicles are all workshop.
Moment, there's one more quick stop. Our workshop is located at our new location in Bräuningsweiler.
Build everything you have chosen in Björn's technology course. We'd be glad to assist. We not only do that, but also everything else that comes up around the motorhome will be fixed with us. We offer this service not only for Euro and Karmann, but also for all other brands.
Yes, that was the presentation in Fast Forward. You can find detailed information about Mobile in our kickoff video 2024. Link below in the description.